Negotiating your job offer. So how many of you guys already have jobs set up after spring? So negotiating your job offer, because if you've already got your job, it's kind of too late. When you are negotiating, and this is mostly full-time, so internships rarely have much negotiating that you can do. So this is a full-time offer for the most part. What can you negotiate? Salary. Salary is one of the best things to negotiate. Okay, other ones would be a signing bonus, or stock, or options, or moving allowance. Time off, it depends where you are. So some places, if you go to one of the FANGs, they're going to have standard policy on vacation and sick leave. But if you're at a smaller company, that would be a possibility. So where there's more flexibility. And time off is in some ways equivalent to salary, right? If you get an extra week a year of vacation, right, that's equivalent to getting around a 2% salary increase. But maybe it's even better because sometimes you can't buy extra time off. You wish you could take a 4-week vacation and you only have 3 weeks of vacation and there's not a lot you can do. So those are all things that you can negotiate. Which are better than others? So what's the best thing here? Or let's look at 2 of them. Moving allowance versus signing bonus. Do we care? It's basically going to be cash, kind of cash in your pocket when you start working. So these are about the same. These are just going to be sort of cash up front. Salary is probably the most important thing that you can get because this compounds. Often what happens is you're getting some percentage raise every year, a standard raise. And so if that's on a larger base, then you get this compounding over time. So this is the best that I would say you can get. Okay? Now, unfortunately, I am better at describing what to do than actually doing it. So when I went to work for Google, I agreed to a certain salary. In fact, I don't think I did much negotiation. And the funny thing is that what happens at Google is all of the offers go up to this executive committee. At least they did at the time I got there. And the executive committee then looks it over and agrees. And they kicked it back down, saying actually they needed to bump up the salary some amount per year, 5 to 10%. And so I definitely, obviously could have gotten some more money. But in any case, if you are offered a position with certain compensation and you ask for more, they are, I'm going to not say never, but close to never going to withdraw your offer because you were somehow greedy or something. Okay, that's just not going to happen. And the offer that they give you is their starting offer. They have the ability to pay you more. Right? These are human resources HR people, and their job is day in, day out, negotiate with candidates. They're very good at it, and they have wiggle room, and they're not going to offer you the top of what they could offer you. Right? They have kind of some amount that they can do. And they're going to probably also get incentivized as to how low that they can get candidates to take rather than how high. So don't accept whatever the first offer is. Okay. Even if you could just say something like, well, would it be possible, to get a higher salary? That's the probably not great form of negotiating, but it's better than yes. Time off is actually like salary. If you've got a time off that's going to, not just the first year time off, but an ongoing time off of an extra year, that again is like a 2% salary bump in many ways. Stock and options, right? The stock is basically going to be often at a large company. And the options are what you're looking at if you were going to work for a startup. I don't have a ton of experience in these options with a startup, but I can give you some ideas. specific reasons for asking for a higher salary that are weighed more heavily. And the answer that I see is competing offers. That is the best way to negotiate, is have multiple offers. This is the best way to negotiate, right? You basically want to set up an auction going where they're going back and forth between them. I would really love to come work for you, XYZ software company. However, I've got this offer from ABC software company that has a higher salary. ABC software company, I'd love to come work for you, but XYZ company has an offer with a higher stock bonus or signing bonus, or a higher stock or whatever. Okay. There are some interesting articles you can find on the net about people who have multiple offers. And again, your best bet is from big companies, Google and the FANG type companies, right? And you can get a huge, 50% higher than you started with in a situation like that. And also, this allows you to negotiate much better because your alternative could be fine, right? Alternative when you are negotiating with XYZ company is, well, worst case, I'll just go work for ABC company, right? I've got tons of options. And also, those competing offers provide a sense of legitimacy, right? And also a fear of missing out. So you have to look at it from the point of view of the company. They have spent time sending not just you through this interview process, but probably 10 or 20 or 30 like you to actually get to one job offer. They've already gone through the job offer that has been okayed, right, by the company. And so HR is going to not do well if they end up with you declining their offer. Does that make sense? Having multiple offers is a bit of an art form in that you want multiple offers simultaneously, right? It doesn't do you any good to say, well, 3 months ago, I had an offer from XYZ company, but I don't now. Or a month from now, I'll have an offer from XYZ company, but I don't now. So you don't want exploding offers, right? You don't want an offer where someone says you have 24 hours to decide, right? You say back, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do it in 24 hours. I need 2 weeks. You might even say I'm interviewing somewhere else, right? That's a valid reason. I'm expecting another offer. They won't want that. They will want you to jump while they can. But again, they'll get this fear of missing out because they see that you are, a hot commodity in some sense. With the option of remote work now, how large an effect does your location have on your salary? It depends on the company. So some companies, smaller companies, some of them have a flat rate wherever you are in the US or even in the world. Other places are dependent on your geography. So when I was at Google, they had they had West Coast salary, they had Canadian salary, they had East Coast. I know they had an Austin. So my son moved from the West Coast to Austin working for Google, and I think he took a 10% pay cut. I was on the West Coast. I was working at Irvine office, and that happened to have the same pay as Seattle, as LA, as Irvine. And it turns out Irvine kind of was a much lower cost of living than, let's say, San Francisco in the Bay Area. So I ended up doing kind of well by that. But I don't know what's going to happen with this location independence in the future, and whether it's going to be more that they don't care what your location is or whether they will care. I don't know. You can probably save more money by moving to a lower cost area of living and working for one of the FANGs, working for one of the companies that pays a ton and still getting that salary, even though they based it at your lower cost of living. For me, I never was interested in moving into the Bay Area, mostly just because of the cost. But that's certainly going to be relevant when you are looking also is what your location is going to be, right? Where you're going to be actually based, what that salary is, and what the expenses you're looking like are there. Okay. The other thing just to keep in mind is that you are a scarce resource, right? It is very hard for companies to find good software engineers. And when they find them, they want them and they want to keep them.